everyone. I am Matt Williamson, and that was a miserable Steelers performance where they got beat pretty darn bad in LA by the Chargers. And we'll get into things. I guess I'm just going to jump right in. It was a pretty disappointing showing. I mean, that's being kind. I thought they had the Chargers right where they wanted them going into that game with a terrible O-line, a lot of issues, Steeler fans galore, Sunday Night Football, the way the Steelers played against the Colts. But I think one thing that was overlooked a little bit about that Colts game was the offense was pretty bad in that game. And boy, did that carry over to this contest. So I'm not going to buzz through all the halftime stats as I often do, but there's a couple that really stand out. And the first one was Steelers had could only generate 3 first downs in the first half. 3 first downs. They were 0 for 6 on third downs. That's really miserable. And the Chargers ran 36 plays in the first half. And thus, yet again, now remember, the Chargers were the best time of possession team in the league, and the Steelers are about the worst. But this is every week. The Steelers have not run more plays than their opponent in any game this year. And just in the first half, the Steelers only held the ball for 12:34. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Chargers held the ball for 17:26. I mean, and that was just the beginning. Yeah, I mean, so I have some notes, but a lot of them are going to carry over to after the game, so I'm going to hold a lot of these. But the one thing they did show at the half was time to throw. At half, Herbert was at 2.2, which is remarkably fast. It's one of the fastest I maybe have ever seen for a stretch, and it was only a half. But the defense still is letting up quick completions. But I got to say, the pass defense isn't why the Steelers lost this game, obviously. And Rodgers was at 3-0. I mean, Collinsworth kept talking about, man, Rodgers is extending plays. That's what he does best. I didn't see it that way. I saw him run into a few sacks. I thought it was more uncomfortability. I didn't think he was playing in rhythm, so, and it wasn't like if you're at 3-0 in terms of time to throw, well, maybe you should be generating deep pass attempts. Not what was happening at all. So, okay, now I'm going to go through the rest of the stats and we can really start to break down some things. And again, as usual, folks, I know there's some new listeners and thank you. Tomorrow's podcast will be way more in depth. It's past midnight here. I'm exhausted and the game just ended. So, But Steelers lost the game 25-10, as you know. Rodgers ended up 16 for 31 for only 161 yards. 1 touchdown, which was garbage time. 2 interceptions. And more on him later, but it was his worst game as Steeler by far. Herbert was good, not great. 20 of 33 for 220. Touchdown, no picks. The no picks thing's big. Vidal ran 25 times for 95 yards and a touchdown. Threw in a catch for 13 yards. I think it was pretty clear Warren was the Steelers' best offensive player. And I love Warren. You guys know that. But if that's your best offensive player, your offense doesn't have good enough players. Right? I mean, I love Warren. But he was 14 for 70, 2 catches for 21. Metcalf ends the day for 3 for 36. More on him later. All other wideouts combined for 4 catches. And 2 of those 4 catches were in garbage time, including the Ramon Wilson touchdown. But is it at least worth exploring now that you don't have an option to go get another wideout, that Ramon Wilson gets a bump in playing time? Or are they going to go to Valdez-Scantling? Ugh, that scares me. I bet that's what happens, but that scares the heck out of me. McConkey ends up with 4 for 107 and a touchdown. 2 sacks by Highsmith and 5 for the Steelers overall. I didn't think the pass rush ever took the game over, but it was good. I mean, they got interior push, they got edge presence, but let's not forget that I think that's I'm not out on a limb here, the worst offensive line in the league, considering how bad they were, in terms of injuries. Chargers O-line. Chargers sacked Rodgers 3 times, and I thought the protection was awful tonight. Each team missed a field goal. Steelers only produced 11 first downs the entire day. Chargers had 18. Steelers were just 2 of 11 on third downs and 0 for 1 on fourth, which I didn't have a problem with them going for that fourth down, by the way. It's something they had to do. Chargers were 6 of 17. They made their only fourth down conversion. Only ran 50 plays. Chargers ran 69. This stuff's going to take a toll. Already is taking a toll. They did produce 221 yards compared to 314 for the Chargers. You would probably think that discrepancy is bigger. And frankly, yards per play wasn't bad. And some of it was garbage time, but not really. I mean, 4.4 yards per play. It's not great. But they only allowed 4.6 in a game that was this lopsided. When you break it down per play, that wasn't so terrible, but maybe a little misleading as well. Yards per rush, 4.6 for the Steelers. You'll take that all day long. And only allowed 3.7, which doesn't quite add up to me, but I do think there were a lot of short in, stuffs and things like that. But Vidal had more success than I would have liked overall. More on that later, too. Steelers only had 4 penalties for 29 yards. Chargers took 8, but only for 55 yards. Again, we talk about this every week. Their time of possession now just keeps getting worse. It was already horrific. 22-25 compared to 37-35. You're just not going to beat anybody like that. I mean, and eventually you're kind of lucky that your defense is as healthy as it is for as much football as you forced them to play. And in this case, it was the offense's fault for that. I mean, so a lot of cases don't work. I mean, don't get me wrong. This has been a group effort. I always talk about time of possession as like you go to the doctor and you say, "Hey, doc, my time of possession hurts." And he's like, "Well, all right, well, let's find out the cause of that." And most of the time, it's like you don't run the ball well enough. You don't stop the ball running well enough. That's not the entire case for the season here. We'll talk about that more this week. But today's time of possession culprit was definitely the offense. You turn the ball over 3 times and you don't create any. I mean, this team's not going to win. They're not going to beat a decent team. I thought the Chargers were reeling. I thought their season was about to fall apart. I was wrong. But if you told me the Steelers lost the turnover battle by 3, I would be like, oh, they got no chance to beat this team. So, pretty miserable. But I don't think the stats even tell the story for how bad this game was. And there was some good, of course, and the defense did some good things, but there were some embarrassing stretches this game, especially as it went along.
Football season's finally here. Time to check out the latest odds, futures, and win totals on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Think the Steelers are headed to the Super Bowl? Lock in your bets today. Whatever your game, FanDuel Sportsbook delivers the latest lines, futures, and specials, so you can join in on all the action.
For those of you who are doing real work in construction, in a warehouse, if you're a mechanic, if you want reliable, comfortable gear to help you perform well on the job, Brunt Workwear's got you. They have waterproof boots, safety toe, soft toe, pull on, or lace up, whatever you need. You can wear them to work, and if they're not right for you, send them back. I don't know any other brand doing that. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. So they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. And for a limited time, our listeners get $10 off. Just head to bruntworkwear.com. That's bruntworkwear.com and use our code DK Sports, all one word, all caps, DK Sports, and you're good to go. After your order, they'll ask you where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor and tell them it was from my show. Thank you so much. Overall, I don't have a ton to complain about with the defense. But I would have liked a more dominant performance, and I frankly expected a more dominant performance from the defense, considering the state of the Chargers' O-line. And there was a lot of runs that Vidal's running through big holes. And he didn't, like, if that was Jonathan Taylor running through those holes, some of those would have gone for 80 yards. You know what I mean? Vidal's just kind of just a guy. But he's running through big holes for 8, 7, 10 against, again, a bad O-line. But all in all, I don't think the defense is really to blame for how this game went. This week is on the offense. I mean, there's no doubt about that. The time possession just destroyed the defense, though, as the game went along, as it's always going to do. And as the season goes on, it's going to get worse and worse for that perspective. If you're 20, you can only hold the ball for 22 minutes. Now, there's some other things. I thought Eccles, who I think has been a nice addition and has been a good player for the Steelers, got abused in this game. And I'm excited to rewatch the game. We're excited to watch it all 22, see where his help's coming from, all those things. But just first viewing on TV, like you guys watched it, Eccles got abused. Don't love that. State of the corner situation isn't great. I don't know, and I want to explore more into this. Peyton Wilson, to me, should not be a part-time player. I understand that they had the 3 linebacker package last week. Fine. But should he be rotating with Harrison? I could even contend that Wilson should be the green dot guy, and he never leaves the field. And maybe you rotate Queen, or you just go Wilson and Queen all the time. I'm not saying Wilson was great in this game, but he's out of the game too much for my liking, too. As for the offense, I mean, I don't think they did anything well, with the slight exception of Warren played well for the most part. I didn't think he was great. He was effective. He did some really good things. He's a very good player. But again, as much as I like Warren, if that's the best thing you got going for your offense on any given day, and it's not like that for every game. I mean, Rodgers is usually a lot better than this. Don't get me wrong. But I just think you don't have a lot of dynamic qualities at all. I mean, the throws are all short. I mean, is this offense hard to play against at all right now? No. And I thought Rodgers played the worst game by far in the Steelers uniform. Now, I think his pass pro was really, really bad. And I'm not making excuses for him, but I could see how that would get in his head early. That I don't know that he or the team has trusted the pass pro at all this season. But that's not why he was terrible in this game. I mean, he's missing throws bad, much more than he had been. He was running into some sacks and some pressures. Did he get him in the right play calls and do all that stuff? Possibly. I mean, I always expect him to do that. Am I worried that Rodgers is now a detriment? Slightly. I mean, it's one game, but at his age, we're deep into November now. Is it time to worry about, is the rigors of the season going to catch up to him? My hunch is he'll probably light up the Bengals defense. I have faith in Rodgers. I think this was a bad game, but it was a really bad game from him. Boy, does it show up that they don't have a second receiver, though. I mean, you can be tight end reliant all you want, but they got in situations, and this is something I warned you guys about, but it's not like it's great knowledge by me, but there's going to be times when you have to throw and you have to be an 11 when the game doesn't go your way early, and they're in no way equipped to do that at all. The announcers, Collinsworth in particular, mentioned this, and I should bring it up more to you guys. But Metcalf is always doubled. I mean, it's just a total lack of respect for other Steeler weapons, especially other Steeler wideouts, how much attention Metcalf gets every game. And now this game looked even more so in that regard, just first blush. And I do like Metcalf, but there's a misconception too. Like, I know that they threw him the ball on 4th down in the end zone. I kind of thought that was a back shoulder throw that he didn't adjust to. But Metcalf isn't the problem, but he's also not a contested catch player. He's not good in battle catches, not like Pickens. He wins in other ways. He's more of a big, strong space player. No one's perfect. I mean, he's still a really good player, but to just assume he's going to win jump ball after jump ball, he's never done that in his career. Or, just throw the ball up and he's going to fight a corner off like Pickens did. No. And it just makes me think, as much as I like Warren, and I said good things about Metcalf, and frankly, I'm not sure if we saw enough Darnell Washington. I'm excited to see the snap counts there, and that seems to be a direct correlation. But as a whole, the skill position players aren't good enough, is my immediate takeaway from this game. And there were some parts here where the wheels just kind of fell off as a team into the second half. Muffed punts, things like that. Now, that was a pretty cool punt, and they described it well, and some of these guys are really can control the ball well. And frankly, their returner, Williams, I think has been a nice find. And that's not the only thing, but there was a handful of, there was that portion of the game when you just saw things were over. McConkey has the long catch and run, the muff punt, in that whole neighborhood of the game where the wheels were pretty much off on this team, and then it wasn't competitive, even though you were kind of hanging around before that. But they talked about this a lot on the broadcast too. There were a lot of opportunities in the first half. Like, one of my big first half notes was, man, there's a lot of meat left on the bone. One was like a missed Boswell field goal, of course, is one of them, but he's allowed to miss once in a while. You know what I mean? I mean, we don't expect this guy to be 1,000%. And frankly, if he's going to miss one or two a year, you might as well miss one in this game, because that wasn't going to be the difference in you winning or losing the game. That's for sure. But there were a few things early on that I thought really were meat left on the bones. You know what I mean? And I think you can have the narrative of, well, if those go the Steelers' way, maybe this game's totally different. The dropped interception, took a safety, couldn't convert with Metcalf for the touchdown. I mean, but I'm not really going to go there. The better team won. I dislike some of the conversations that are had on Monday where, well, if Porter just catches that ball and Boswell hits the field goal, and then you have a different feel going into the half. And there's some truth to that. I mean, there's a butterfly effect that things would have gone better. But all in all, the Steelers got beat pretty bad today and deserved to lose. Making matters worse, the Ravens won. Pretty convincing fashion, although if you watch that game, Minnesota really did a lot to hurt their chances of winning on their own. I don't know that the Ravens are back to being a powerhouse, but they have to be the leader in the clubhouse right now to win the AFC North. Huge game coming up against the Bengals. The Ravens schedule is very easy the next couple of weeks too. You have to beat the Bengals. You have to rebound in a big way. But man, I mean, it's crazy that a lot, for 2 weeks in a row or several weeks in a row, man, this defense is the worst in the league, and Rodgers and the offense are doing great. And now 2 weeks in a row, kind of the total opposite. Defense hasn't been the problem overall, especially against the Colts. They were awesome. And this is 2 bad games in a row for the offense. And it makes you wonder, where's things going to come from? I mean, are they going to be able to do any kind of downfield passing? The protection's not good enough. Where's the quarterback at this stage of his career, or this stage of his, age 41 season? Wide receiver help's not walking through the door. And it's pretty troubling. Tomorrow I might be in a little bit better mood. I always warn you guys this on the day after the game, especially these night games when I'm tired, that doom and gloom, and I'm sure you guys are feeling the same way. But this was a pretty darn poor performance.